Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's for this tutorial on this bubble dress. We'll be making use of 2 years of fabric or 2 to 3 years of fabric depending on how big you are. So we're going to be folding this in like we want to fold a flay. So yeah, that's what you're going to be folding for this first one. Then we'll now talk about our lining, and your lining doesn't include in these 2 to 3 years, right? So it depends on how big you are, just like I mentioned earlier. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold into exact 2, and then I'll fold over again. So you're trying to cut out a full flare for this style. So once I fold it, I'm done folding it. So what we are going to be using to cut out our waist measurement is our hip measurement divided by 4 plus 5 inches or more, depending on if you want it to be very full at the gather part or at the waistline. So that's what you're going to be folding. Our hip measurement divided by 4 plus about 5 inches. So whatever you have there, you're going to go ahead and make an estimate of where. So you're going to go ahead and mark that same measurement. So once you are done marking it, you're going to measure and be sure that is your waist measurement divided by 4 plus 5 inches or more, just like I mentioned, depending on how full you want it to be. So you're going to go ahead and mark all the measurement around. So I'm going to be marking round this to create a semicircle. So once you're done, make sure you measure what you have there. So you're going to measure, I lost a clip on where I measured it, but just measure that line that you just marked and be sure that it's up to what you want. And then from that place, you're going to go ahead and take our measurement. But for this measurement, I want it to have a waistband of about 1.5 inches. So this skirt is going to have a waistband. It's not going to have a zipper. So I'll go ahead and measure the length of my skirt plus 2 inches. So that's what I'm going to be marking here, plus 2 inches. So the length of the skirt minus 1.5 inches for the band, and then the length of it, you're going to add extra 2 inches for it. I'm going to show you guys the reason why we added extra 2 inches. So once you make that mark, you're going to go ahead and measure the what you have there all around to create a full circle. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. If you haven't subscribed up to this moment, please do where to hit on the subscribe button and join the family. And to my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. So this is what we have afterwards. So we're going to go ahead and measure this waist measurement, and then we're going to be using it to cut out our lining. So the lining is going to be the exact waist measurement that we have here on this fabric, right? So we're going to go ahead and cut out the lining. So at this at the end of the day, look at this is what we have. So this is what we have, a full flare. So we're going to go ahead and cut out our lining. So for the lining, I'm going to go ahead and measure from the waist up to that 2 inches extra that we added. So whatever I have there, that's the measurement that we are going to be using. And for the width of this lining is going to be our waist measurement, right? So it's going to be our waist measurement. So I'll bring in the fabric again, fold it into 2 so that we don't start measuring a long fabric. So I'll fold the skirt into 2, and then I'll go ahead and measure the waist of this skirt. So for the lining is not going to be on a flare form, it's going to be on a straight form. That's what you're going to be marking. So I'll go ahead and bring in my lining. I'll fold my fabric into 2 so that it's easier for us, and then I'll go ahead and measure and mark the waist measurement divided by 2 because my fabric is folded into 2. So I'll mark my waist measurement divided by 2. That waist measurement we just measured, right? And then the length of the skirt, remember we measured it. So I'll make a mark there, and then I'll add extra half inch to this lining to it. Yeah, yes, I'm adding extra half inch. So I'll go ahead and measure whatever I have here. I'll replace it to the other side, and then we're going to go ahead and cut this out. So guys, this is what we have at this point after cutting it out. So remember I said it's not going to be on the flare form. So that's what we have there. And then for the flare part of this skirt, I'm going to go ahead and slash it open. So you want to have one side of it open, so one seam side open, so that it's easier for us to work with. So once I slash that open, we are going to go ahead and bring in our lining. So for this lining, at this point, you're going to be doing from facing front, and then I'll go ahead and place it at the same side of this skirt, of this flace skirt. So once I pin it down, I'll make a stitch, half inch stitch, because that's what you're going to be using to stitch down that seam side. So I'll make a stitch first of all, half inch, and then I'll start gathering into this fabric, into this lining. I'll gather it until I get to the end, and remember to leave about half inch at the other side of it once you get there. So once we get there, we are going to um come back and continue with this tutorial. So guys, this is what we have at this point. I'm done gathering it at the at one side of this lining, so I'll turn it to the right side. Once you turn it, you see that your lining is shorter than the main fabric. All you have to do is to pull it up, just like you want to do for your pencil sketch, right? I'll pull it up, and then I'll go ahead and stitch and pin it down. So I'll pin it down instead of stitching it down. So this is what you have. Once you pull it up, you will see that it's going to pull up at the hem side, and the lining is not going to show. That's what I was showing you guys earlier. So I'll pin the two ends of this bubble skirt. Once you're done pinning it down, you will see that it's going to align um with the lining. And then for the band, remember we took out 1.5 inches for the band, right? So that's what I'm going to go. I went ahead to cut out, and then I added extra half inch stitching allowance to it. That's 1.5 inches plus half inch, which is 2 inches. And then the length of it is the width of the skirt waist, the skirt waist. So this is the length here. That's what I have here. So I'll go ahead and fold this into two, and then I'll bring in the skirt. At this point, you're going to be doing front facing front as well, and then I'll go ahead and place it at the front part of the skirt. I'll stitch that all the way from beginning to the end. So guys, this is what you have at this point. You can go ahead and search the waistline at this point, and then this is what you have. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to bring in our elastic band. So for our elastic band is our waist measurement, our actual waist measurement by minus 2 inches. You don't want it to be too tight, because so that it will be able to pass through the hip. So this is what you have at this point. So I'll go ahead and attach the elastic band into the sketch waistband that we created. So please, make use of safety pin while passing through this, or while doing this. Don't mind the way I'm doing it. The elastic is quite very firm, so that's why I was able to do this. So I'll secure this at this point and pull it out from the other side and secure it as well. So this is what we have. Once you are done with that, you are going to close up the same side that we left earlier, and then stitch it down. So guys, this is what we have at this point. You can go ahead and search yours. So I'll go ahead and turn this to the right side, and that's it for our bubble skirt. I hope you find value in this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share my videos to family and friends if you find value. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. So please go ahead and insert your measurement in everywhere we mentioned, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.